so I know their game better than they do.
So I can take my game to the next level.
Because when your bed is this smart, you sleep at the right temperature all night. That's why 80% of NFL players choose the Sleep Number Smart Bed.
If your perfect home is out there, it's in here. With more than 1 million listings, the Redfin app helps you find the one. When it hits the market, you can see it first. Check out every angle with a 3D walkthrough and imagine yourself there. Love it? Schedule a tour right in the app. Wanna win? Choose Redfin.
1 down, 9 to go.
Hey, what are you doing out here?
I just had something picked up.
Oh my gosh, I'm having something delivered.
Carvana.
You know Carvana. Searched it, bought it, scheduled it. And here it is.
You think Carvana's good for buying? You should try selling one.
Oh my gosh, it's almost identical. You gotta have backup, you know what I say.
Good job, hun.
Thanks. Woo! I loved it once and I love it twice. Where is the other one?
Buy
Or sell.
your car with Carvana today.
In 44% of games, the winning team came back in the fourth quarter. And 24% of games were decided by 3 points or fewer.
Here's the snap, and it is good. A heartbreaking defeat.
This game is unpredictable. And unbelievable happens. So, if you bet, set limits. Never chase your losses. And only bet what you can afford to lose. Learn more at responsibleplay.org.
Live from Bangkok, Thailand, One Friday Fights. Martial arts action on FanDuel TV Plus. Download the free FanDuel TV Plus app on connected devices and smart TVs. One Friday Fights on FanDuel TV Plus. Friday mornings, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific.
It was a great trip.
I love it. Now, I have Marissa McBride is one of my producers on the show. She's a big Philly girl. She talks about the Eagles all of the time. We're always talking about the Phillies. The Phillies dominated the World Series. I didn't pick the Braves to win. Everyone was on me about it. They were the faves. Of course, you're talking underdogs. They were undefeated at home. Wild fans in baseball. Like the magic, everything seemed to be on the Braves side. Like, why did the wheels fall off, and why should I support this Phillies team?
Well, the Phillies just got knocked out, so we're good with that. Like the Diamondbacks, I'm happy.
I didn't even know that. That's why I need you, Fowler.
Hey, the Diamondbacks, man, you know what? It's the hot team. The hot team wins, right? It's not always the best team in baseball. And I tell people all the time, I say, the 5-day layoff that the Braves had and the Dodgers had, that got them. You know, you can't take 5 days off baseball and try to go back and win something. That's tough to do.
I meant, why did the Phillies lose, not the Braves? I knew the Braves lost, and I felt smart about it. And then the Phillies just lost. So Marissa must be in LA just crying in a corner right now, because I thought they were going to go all the way. And then they had Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce like chugging beers. I thought it was going to happen.
You know what? They had all the stars. You know what happens when you have all the stars in the stands? It doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. It worked out for us, actually. But we had, that was 108 years in waiting. But for the Phillies, they're gonna have to wait another year. And coming up, like, this is gonna be the underdogs, right? You got the Rangers and Arizona. Yeah. I mean, flip a coin. They're both playing good baseball right now.
Well, right. For the Rangers, they're doing it, trying it for the first time ever. And the Diamondbacks, their first World Series appearance since they won, and that was way back in 2001, forever ago. Which players are you looking for when it comes to World Series MVP, and who do you have taking home the crown?
I think the first two up there, yeah, you can't go wrong with those. And, like you said, if I got, you know what, I'm going to throw Christian Walker a lot higher than Kentel Marte. You know why? Because he already won the MVP for the NLCS, and I feel like there's always that guy, and I think Christian Walker is that guy. If they win, it's going to be on Christian Walker's back.
And then Garcia, you're not giving him any love for being like the biggest villain I've ever seen in MLB history.
Oh, Adolis was my old teammate. Couldn't be one of my favorite teammates. Nicest dude ever. I loved him in the clubhouse. He was with me in St. Louis, and you know what? I saw him at a Cowboys game, and you know, I'm a huge Cowboys fan, so I was happy to see him, you know, having the success he's had, because his talent is crazy, and the dude is massive. I remember he came in the weight room one time, and I was like, you know, you're not supposed to eat the weights.
Right, but give me the softer side of him, because whenever I see the highlights, and you know, I'm an NFL girl. We'll talk your Cowboys in a second to wrap it, but he's showing up pictures on home runs. He's getting the benches to clear. He's booed relentlessly. Like, he's not a villain. He's a sweetheart.
He's an awesome dude. Awesome dude. Great teammate. You would love to have him on your team, but you know what? You know what they say? Don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear.
Yeah, we'll see if he's the bear for the rest of the series. I love that. Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. We got about 30 seconds. Make your case for these Cowboys, baby.
My Cowboys are going to do it. We say this every year. I know I'm going to hear some flack. I know I'm going to hear all this. Cowboys every year, they're going to be, you know what? But they started off well, and they kind of hit a, you know, little few road bumps, but I think they'll come back. You know what? I see them beating the 49ers.
Well,
I see them beating the 49ers. I see them beating the 49ers.
A couple weeks ago, Dex, I wouldn't believe you, but that's excellent analysis. Hopefully they can do it. Tune in Friday night for Game 1 of the World Series and check out Dexter giving his analysis next season on the Marquee Network. Fowler, I want to see you in.
What about this one? Wire brush finish.
I love this style, and the price is amazing.
It's got 2 removable leaves.
And the bench has storage. Honey, do you like this table?
It's yours if you like it.
She's thinking. Sure.
Oh, my Bob, she loves it!
She loves us.
Probably. When you don't have to compromise on style, quality, or price, there's only one thing to say. Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Responsible sports betting can easily be part of your routine. Hi, I'm Sam, the Responsible Gaming Caddy. If you bet, set a budget and play within your means. Keep it social by playing with friends. Study the game to learn the odds. Place bets with trusted, licensed operators. And finally, never chase losses. Sports betting is not a pathway for financial gains. If you're getting in on the action, join me at haveagameplan.org/PGA Tour.
Hey, so I found a betting system that's really working great for me.
So did I. What's yours?
I set up an hour-a-week time limit on FanDuel. I can also set up wager limits, so I only bet what I can afford, and betting stays fun.
Right.
So what's your system?
What's that?
Your system. What's your system? What is that?
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours.
Why do I choose a sleep number smart bed?
So I can keep them all guessing.
So I know their game better than they do. So I can take my game to the next level.
Because when your bed is this smart, you sleep at the right temperature all night. That's why 80% of NFL players choose the Sleep Number Smart Bed.
All right, time to do some selling. That's going towards rent. Oh yeah, that's going towards girls' night. And that's going towards a new bag.
From October 16th through November 19th, any new listing will be entered for a chance to win $10,000 cash. Terms and conditions apply.
With the GameTime app, I paid 60% less than this guy.
What?
And it's not just sports tickets. It's also concerts. Performances too!
Oh, come on!
Download GameTime. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
The Breeders' Cup has arrived, and the top horses in the world have come to Santa Anita to test their mettle against the best in their respective divisions. Arcangelo, Adair Manor, and Cody's Wish are all here and ready to strut their stuff on racing's biggest stage. Stay tuned as the pre-entries are revealed for all 14 races and get an early look at the possible fields for the 2 most spectacular days in horse racing. Welcome to the Breeders' Cup Pre-Entry Show.
We are just 9 days away from the Breeders' Cup World Championships, 2 of the biggest days in horse racing where the best of the best from across the world face off on the same stage. And that same stage for the 40th anniversary is Santa Anita Park, the great race place, hosting it for a record 11th time. You heard it in that tease. 14 different divisions, over $30 million in purses and awards. And today, we get to find out who's running. So let's get straight into it. Let's get to our crew on site at the Great Race Place, Joaquin Jaime, Christina Blacker, to give us all the insight of who has pre-entered for the 40th anniversary of the Breeders' Cup. Guys, can't wait. You can see the whole studio's purple. We're feeling it.
Brittany, we are as well. The purple signage has gone up here at the Great Race Place, Santa Anita, over about the past week, and the anticipation, the excitement continues to build. The horses and the horsemen and women are continuing to arrive, and we want to dive right into your pre-entries for this year's Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships. Joaquin, we have 14 races, $28 million in purses, and Brittany mentioned it's the 40th anniversary of the Breeders' Cup. It's very fitting that this anniversary happens right here at Santa Anita.
Yeah, this is a bit of a Breeders' Cup tradition as well. The 10th, 20th, 30th, and now the 40th anniversary of the Breeders' Cups have all been hosted right here at Santa Anita. We've seen some top-class performances during those anniversary years as well.
We are going to start off with Future Stars Friday, all the 2-year-old races to be competed on the Friday program here at Santa Anita. And let's dive right into it because we have quite a lot to get to. Joaquin, you are up for our very first race. Here's a look at the list and the lineup. The Juvenile Turf Sprint, the Juvenile Fillies, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Juvenile presented by the TAA, and the Prevagen Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Take it away, Joaquin.
All right, so let's look at the pre-entries for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. 2-year-olds sprinting 5 furlongs on the turf, and it carries a purse of $1 million. Here are the pre-entries. Big Ebbs, Bright Work, Cherry Blossom, Committee of One, Crimson Advocate, Dreamfire, Gimme the Beat Boys, No Name Mets, Pearls and Rubies, Slider, Tiger Bell, Breeders' Cup Challenge winner Valiant Force, not selected into the field and listed in order of preference by the Breeders' Cup Racing Directors and Secretaries panel: Amidst Waves, Crown Imperial, Starlust, Shards, Hedwig, Dark Vintage, Toca Madera, Ocean, Pippet, Hidden Class, April Vintage, and Bubbly Champagne. 24 total horses pre-entered in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint.
That the first of your Future Stars Friday races. We'll move right ahead as we do have plenty to get to. Coming up next is the NetJets Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies to be run at the 1.16 distance on the main track for 2-year-old fillies. This one carries a purse of $2 million. Here are your pre-entries. Accommodate Eva, Alice Beach, Bright Work, Challenge winner Candide, Challenge winner Chattelis, Esprit Enchant, Go with Gusto, Jody's Pride, Challenge winner Just FYI, Life Talk, Omaha Girl, Scalable, Tamra, Vivi's Dream. Not selected into the field and listed in order of preference by the Breeders' Cup Racing Directors and Secretaries panel, Where's My Ring? In the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, 14 may run, and you will have that also eligible as listed. Good luck to all our pre-entered competitors in the NetJets Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. We'll move right on ahead and continue on with this Friday program. Joaquin, the Juvenile Fillies Turf up next.
8 furlongs on the grass for the 2-year-old fillies, also carrying a purse of $1 million. Let's take a look at the pre-entries, starting with Austere, Challenge winner Buku, Buttercream Babe, Challenge winner Carla's Way, Content, Dreamfire, Flattery, Gala Brand, Challenge winner Hard to Justify, Lone, Le Pavot, Life's an Audible, Horta Fortuna, And challenge winner She Feels Pretty, not selected into the field and listed in order of preference by the Breeders' Cup Racing Directors and Secretaries panel, go with Gusto, Pharaoh's Wine, Crown Imperial, Jody's Pride, Brock Nardini, Tripolina, Hidden Class, Pippet, Where's My Ring, Mo Fox Given, and Bubbly Champagne. Christina, that's 25 total horses pre-entered in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf.
Looking forward to it. 14 can run in the Juvenile Fillies Turf. We will take 4 also eligibles for that one. Let's move right on ahead to the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and we return to the main track for this one at the mile and a 16th. Let's take a look at the 2-year-old colts and geldings pre-entered into the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Cuban Thunder, Ecoroneo, Fierceness, General Partner, Johannes Brahms, first preference to the Juvenile Turf, Challenge winner Locked, Challenge winner Muth, Noted, Prince of Monaco, The Wine Steward, Challenge winner Timberlake, and Wine Me Up. A total of 12 pre-entered into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile on the main track. And again, as you can see, a few of them with that first preference listed to the Juvenile Turf. And that leads us to our next race, the Prevagen Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, Joaquin.
Yeah, final race on Future Stars Friday. Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, Grade 1 event, 2-year-old colts and geldings, 8 furlongs with a purse of $1 million. Here's a look at the pre-entries, starting off with challenge winner Agate Road, Air Recruit, challenge winner Can Group, challenge winner Carson's Run, Endlessly, Fulmineo, Johannes Brahms, Legend of Time, Mountain Bear, My Boy Prince, Noted, River Tiber, Talk Talk, and Unquestionable, not selected into the field and listed in order of preference by the Breeders' Cup Racing Directors and Secretaries panel. There's 3 of them. Stay Hot, Grand Mo the First, and Liam's Journey. 17 total horses, Christina, are pre-entered in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf.
14 can run, and again, we will take 4 also eligibles for that one. Looking forward to all of the races on Future Stars Friday. And this was a move that the Breeders' Cup made a few years ago to kind of move all the 2-year-old races to that first day, and then some of the more traditional races to Saturday, and I love it. I love seeing the 2-year-olds in action on that first day.
Sort of gives them their stage, because when you start looking at Championship Saturday, you have races, of course, like the Breeders' Cup Classic and the Breeders' Cup Distaff and all these other divisions. So it does give the opportunity for the 2-year-olds to shine on Future Stars Friday.
We have had a little bit of drizzle, as you can see over our shoulders today. I think this is the second day of fall weather that we've had here in Southern California, but I already checked the forecast earlier this morning. 79 and sunny. We're looking at sunny skies and a beautiful day for Future Stars Friday in terms of that long-term forecast. Let's take a look and check in on X. We know that some of you all are weighing in and anxiously awaiting this information from Jade Eisensimmer. Man, I'll never get tired of the lead up to the Breeders' Cup. Pre-entries today. The breakfast show starts on Friday. An exciting few days ahead of us. Yes, and as Brittany mentioned, an exciting 9 days. We want you to join the conversation on TVG and Breeders' Cup socials. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have a lock, if you have a selection as we go through these pre-entries. We'll be right back with the Saturday pre-entered runners.
You think life is short? Football is short. The regular season's just 18 weeks. That's it. So cherish every over and under before it's over on FanDuel, with live betting on every NFL game. Because before you know it, a cold night at the Buffalo Bills game will just be a cold night in Buffalo.
Bet $5 to get $200 back in bonus bets and get a profit boost every single day. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
I'm Mark, and I live in Vero Beach, Florida. My wife and I have 3 children.
Ruth Ann and I like to hike. We eat healthy, we exercise. I noticed I wasn't as sharp as I used to be. My wife introduced me to Prevagen, so I said, yeah, I'll try it out. I noticed that I felt sharper. I felt like I was able to respond to things quicker. And I thought, yeah, it works for me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
Hey there, it's Craig Carton, and the NBA is back. If you're choosing to bet on some NBA action this season, please make sure you do so responsibly. Remember, gambling should always be fun, social, and entertaining. If at any time you reach a point where it's not, then take a break or a timeout and look into the tools and the resources available to you and everybody by going to FanDuel.com/playwell.
Hey, so I found a betting system that's really working great for me.
So did I. What's yours?
I set up an hour-a-week time limit on FanDuel. I can also set up wager limits, so I only bet what I can afford, and betting stays fun.
Right.
So what's your system?
What's that?
Your system. What's your system? What is that?
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours.
With NetJets, travel will always be personal. We do everything it takes to make every flight exceptional. Every single detail of your experience is personalized, just for you. As our standard is not just to meet our definition of perfection, it's to exceed yours.
Welcome back to Santa Anita, the Great Race Place, and a venue where we've seen some of the most exciting races in Breeders' Cup history. Of course, Senada and that Breeders' Cup Classic definitely comes to mind. So 5 races down as we already went through the pre-entries for Future Stars Friday. Let's take a look at the full page and the list and lineup for the races on Saturday. 9 more races to go, and here's a look at the lineup.
First Breeders' Cup race on Saturday is going to be race number 3, the Big Ass Fans Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. The Longines Breeders' Cup Classic is going to be race number 9. That is a first this year. The Classic will not be the final Breeders' Cup race in 2023. The Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint will follow the Classic, and then ending with race 11 in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Let's take a look at the pre-entries for the Big Ass Fans Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And this has been a really good stepping stone for horses over the years that maybe weren't ready for the Breeders' Cup Classic, would run in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and then become top handicap horses in the next few years. Accelerate, Gunrunner, Knicks Go, Life is Good. All of these horses come to mind. Let's look at the pre-entries, starting with Algiers, Bright Future, Charge It, Dirt Mile winner in 2022, Cody's Wish, Dreamlike, Mage, your Preakness winner, National Treasure, Practical Move, Senior Buscador, Skippy Longstocking, 3 Technique, and Breeders' Cup Challenge winner, Zozos, not selected into the field and listed in order of preference by the Breeders' Cup Racing Directors and Secretaries panel. There's 3 horses here. Stage Raider, American Theorem, and Sherrills B. That is 15 total horses pre-entered in the Big Ass Fan Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile.
Looking forward to it. 12 will run in the Dirt Mile. The second race on the Saturday program for the Breeders' Cup is the Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf, run at the 1.25 mile distance for 3-year-olds and up. And this one carries a purse of $2 million. Let's take a look at the pre-entries for the Filly and Mare Turf. The Cowbred closing remarks. Didia, a challenge winner right here at Santa Anita in the Rodeo Drive. Fev Rover, also a challenge winner, the Beverly D winner. Gina Romantica, first preference in the FanDuel Mile. In Italian, her stablemate, both from Chad Brown's barn, second preference in the mile. In Spiral, Lindy, Lumiere Rock, McCulloch, also from Chad Brown's barn, Moira, State Occasion, Warm Heart, Win Maryland, and With the Moonlight for Charlie Appleby and Godolphin. A total of 14 horses pre-entered into the Filly and Mare Turf. 14 can run. And Joaquin, this is one of those races that distance-wise does change at times depending on the host venue. And it's a unique course that they get to compete on here at Santa Anita.
Yeah, looking at the distance last year in this race, it was run at 1 mile and 3/16, starting at the top of the stretch on the turf course there at Keeneland. This year at 1.25 miles, they're going to start downhill. And I think for maybe some of the Europeans where there might be question marks if their horses are going to be able to get the 10 furlongs, I think over Breeders' Cup history, we have seen horses that might be a little bit of tweeners actually stretch out and be able to get the 10 furlongs, which is a bit of a soft 1.25 miles here at Santa Anita because of that downhill start. Day at the Spa comes to mind for Chad Brown. Zagora also comes to mind. So 1.25 miles this year for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf.
Let's move on ahead with our pre-entries. And coming up next is the Filly and Mare Sprint.
Filly and Mare Sprint for Fillies and Mares, of course. 3-year-olds and up. 7 furlongs is the distance with a purse of $1 million. Let's take a look at the pre-entries here, starting with Godolphins, Caramel Swirl, Clearly Unhinged, the Arizona bred, Desert Dawn, Ida, Elm Drive, last year's Breeders' Cup winner, Goodnight Olive for Chad Brown, Hoosier Filly, Kirstenbosch, Matarea, May K. Yell, Society, and then challenge winners 3 Witches and Ugiri. So 13 total horses going 7 furlongs that have been pre-entered for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint.
We'll move ahead with our pre-entries. Coming up next, we get back to the turf course with the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile at the mile distance on the turf course for 3-year-olds and up and a purse of $2 million. Here's a look at the pre-entries for the FanDuel Mile. Casa Creed, a challenge winner and making his 4th appearance in the Breeders' Cup. Du Jour. Exalted, also a challenge winner right here with the Shoemaker Mile victory earlier in the season. Gina Romantica, 2nd preference to the Filly and Mare Turf. In Italian, 1st preference to the Filly and Mare Turf. Kalina for Wertimer and Frere. Master of the Seas. Maj, the half-sister to Breeders' Cup winner Modern Games. Paddington, an incredible season for Group 1s and one of the more popular horses from Europe making his way to the Breeders' Cup. Sauterne, Shirl Spite, challenge winner Songline, challenge winner Up to the Mark for Todd Pletcher with that win at Keeneland, and Win Carnelian. Not selected into the field and listed in order of preference by the Breeders' Cup Racing Directors and Secretaries panel, More Than Looks, Master of Foxhounds, Lucky Score, and Astronomer. 18 horses pre-entered into the FanDuel Mile. 14 will run. 4 also eligibles will be taken.
Let's move back to the dirt for the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff. Fillies and Mares, 3-year-olds and up, going 9 furlongs on the main track, and this carries a purse of $2 million. Here's a list of the pre-entries, starting off with Amore for trainer Brad Cox. Challenge winner, Adair Manor for the Hall of Famer Bob Baffert. The Argentinian bred, Belleza de Arteaga. Challenge winner, Clairiere for the Hall of Famer Steve Asmussen. Desert Dawn. Hoosier Filly. Challenge winner, Idiomatic, also for Brad Cox. The Chilean bred, Leda Vida. Kentucky Oaks winner, Pretty Mischievous for Godolphin and Brendan Walsh. Randomized. Sabra Tough, Search Results, and another one for a Godolphin in here. That is going to be Wet Paint. Desert Dawn has 2nd preference in the Filly and Mare Sprint, and Hoosier Filly also has 2nd preference in the Filly and Mare Sprint. 13 horses pre-entered in the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff.
Last year's Distaff, one of the more thrilling races with 3 of them getting their noses down. on the wire together. Let's move ahead. Up next is the Longines Breeders' Cup Turf to be run at 1.5 miles on the turf course for 3-year-olds and up. This race with a purse of $4 million. Here are your pre-entries. The English and Irish Derby winner and one of the horses with the most exciting international pedigrees that we're seeing this season, Auguste Rodin for Aidan O'Brien. Balladeer. Challenge winner Bolshoi Ballet for his win in the Sword Dancer. Broom, also from Aidan O'Brien's barn. Challenge winner Get Smokin'. Dual challenge winner Gold Phoenix. Challenge winner King of Steel, who was a huge win this past weekend in the Champion Stakes with Frankie Dettori aboard. That was his final big race day and big ride in England. Mostadaf, also a dual challenge winner. Onesto. Peace Badil for Donica O'Brien. Challenge winner Raptors. Shahryar. Up to the Mark with second preference to the mile. Warlike Goddess. Also King of Steel with second preference to the Classic. Not selected into the field and listed in order of preference by the Breeders' Cup Racing Directors and Secretaries panel. Adamo for Chad Brown. Master of Foxhounds and Cellist. 17 horses pre-entered into the Longines Breeders' Cup Turf. 14 can run. 4 also eligibles can be taken.
Let's move on to the big one, the $6 million Longines Breeders' Cup Classic, 3-year-olds and up, running the American Classic distance of 1.25 miles. Here's a look at the pre-entry, starting off with challenge winner Arabian Night for the Hall of Famer Bob Baffert. Your Belmont Stakes winner, Arcangelo for Jenna Antonucci. Breeders' Cup Challenge winner Bright Future for the Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher. Charge It. Derma Sotogake. Go Rocket Ride for Hall of Famer Richard Mandela. King of Still. Your Kentucky Derby winner, Mage. Proxy. Saudi Crown. Senior Buscador. Dubai World Cup winner Ushba Tesoro. Breeders' Cup Challenge winner White Abario. And Zandon, not selected into the field and listed in order of preference by the Breeders' Cup Racing Directors and Secretaries panel. Clapton, Skippy Longstocking, Dreamlike, and Miss the Cut. Quite a few preferences to sort out here, Christina. Bright Future has second preference in the dirt mile. Charge It has second preference in the dirt mile. King of Steel has his first preference in the Breeders' Cup Turf. Mage has second preference in the dirt mile. The same applies to Senior Buscador, and Skippy Longstocking has first preference in the dirt mile. Dreamlike also has his first preference in the dirt mile, so that would allow some horses on the outside looking in to possibly get in the body of the field.
And it's incredible how many 3-year-olds we see pre-entered into this year's Breeders' Cup Classic. I mean, we've talked about this crop of 3-year-olds and how they've really kind of traded punches and shared a lot of the spotlight through the Triple Crown and beyond. But we have so many of them lining up to take on the Olders this year.
And Bob Baffert, he has won the Breeders' Cup Classic 4 times. Believe it or not, all 4 of those winners have come with 3-year-olds. When you look at Authentic, Arrogate, American Pharaoh, and Bayern right here at Santa Anita. Of course, Bob Baffert going to have the 3-year-old in Arabian Night, who might be the post-time favorite the way he's training here.
And as you say, 2 races to be run after the Classic. This is a first for the Breeders' Cup, so we still have 2 more races to announce with regard to the pre-entries. So let's get back to it as we're running out of time here on the pre-entry show. The Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint for 3-year-olds and up at the 5-furlong distance. This with a purse of $1 million. Here's a look at the pre-entries. Aesop's Fables, Arzak, Big Invasion, Bradsell, your defending champion Caraval, Gear Jockey, Jasper Crone with second preference to the sprint on the main track, Live in the Dream, Motorious, Nobles, Roses for Deborah, and Tony Ann. We'll reveal the second page here in just a moment for you, as we do have a total of 22 horses pre-entered into the turf sprint. Here's a look at those not selected into the field and listed in order of preference by the Breeders' Cup Racing Directors and Secretaries panel. May Kai Yell, second preference to the Filly and Mare Sprint. One Timer for Larry Ravelli. Beer Can Man, Lane Way for My Racehorse, Private Creed, Bad Beat Brian, Twilight Gleaming, Noble Reflection, and Hamwood Flyer. And Joaquin, this is another race that we have an opportunity to run at several different distances. And here at Santa Anita, it has been run at a very different distance in the past when you talk about the turf sprint.
When you look earlier on during the Breeders' Cup when it's been hosted here at Santa Anita, we've gone down the hillside turf course at times going 6.5 furlongs, but it's going to be run at 5 furlongs. I had to refresh my memory looking back at 2019. I thought we went down the hill that year. It was actually run at 5 furlongs in 2019 as well. So very little margin for error when you're talking about 5 furlong distance on the grass.
One more race to go. We get back to the main track. I'll let you take it away for the pre-entries for the sprint.
Qatar Racing Breeders' Cup Sprint, 3-year-olds and up. 3/4 of a mile with the purse of $2 million. There was a defection, and Doug O'Neill confirmed to me earlier this morning that Anarchist, who won the Pat O'Brien, will not be running in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. So, American Theorem for George Papadromo. Dr. Shivel for Mark Glatt. Last year's Breeders' Cup Sprint winner, Elite Power for Juddmonte and the Hall of Famer Bill Mott. Gunite, Breeders' Cup Challenge winner, Hoist the Gold. Jasper Crone. Nakatomi. Speedboat Beach, the California bred and a Breeders' Cup Challenge winner. The Chosen Brawn for Eric Kruljak. And 3 Technique. American Theorem has second preference in the dirt mile. Jasper Crone has first preference in the turf sprint, and then 3 Technique has second preference in the dirt mile. So with Anarchist being withdrawn, Christina, that is 10 horses pre-entered in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Looking forward to it, and we are counting down the days to the Breeders' Cup to both Future Stars Friday, November the 3rd, and to Championship Saturday on November the 4th. Let's take one more look at the pre-entries for the Classic before we wrap things up here on the pre-entry show. One more look at those horses who have been pre-entered into the 1.25 mile Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. And we talked about all of those 3-year-olds, Arabian Night, Arcangelo, you have Mage, your Kentucky Derby winner, Saudi Crown. I mean, this is an incredible class. And some of them, unfortunately, we're not going to get to see in the Breeders' Cup, but those that we do have on this list, it will be a real treat to see them take on the older horses.
Yeah, historically speaking, this is one of the Breeders' Cup Classic editions where there have been a tilt towards the majority of 3-year-olds. In 2014, there were actually 7 3-year-olds in the starting gate that year, and in 2018 at Churchill Downs, there were also 6 3-year-olds in the starting gate that year. So this has happened before in Breeders' Cup history, but yeah, when you look at the 3-year-olds this year, Arabian Night, Go Rocket Ride. We know Mage, the Kentucky Derby winner, is better than what he showed as of late. Arcangelo trying to do something that his daddy did, and that is win the Travers Stakes and the Breeders' Cup Classic in the same year during a 3-year-old campaign. Saudi Crown is one of those horses that is getting better and better as the year goes on. He's one of the lightly raced horses. And then Derma Sotogake, remember him? I saw him when he won the UAE Derby in Dubai. He had a lot of buzz around him going into the first Saturday in May in the Kentucky Derby. I'd have to go back and look at his past performances. When is the last time we've even seen him on the racetrack in Japan?
Kentucky Derby. Oh, yeah, I think it was his Derby, where he was 6th in the Kentucky Derby. I went back and looked at that last night. Yeah, coming back off the long break. Arcangelo has been here for quite some time. You talk about layoffs. Remember, he had that significant layoff between the Belmont and the Travers, that by design from trainer Jenna Antonucci, 11 weeks between races at that point. Now we're looking at 10 weeks between the Travers and the Breeders' Cup Classic, and he was one of the earliest arrivals here in Southern California.
And I think that takes away the home court advantage, so to speak, when you're able to go ahead and get on the time zone, just get familiar with your new surroundings, get familiar with the way they do things here in Southern California. So, yeah, Arcangelo looking to be one of the 3-year-olds headlining the Breeders' Cup Classic this year.
Just getting started with all of our Breeders' Cup programming here on FanDuel TV. We cannot wait to bring you breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. It starts on Friday, October the 27th, and we'll go all the way through Thursday, the day before Future Stars Friday. Looking forward to that one right here with you and our entire team. We'll see you next time, and we look forward to the official post position draw on Monday for the 40th Breeders' Cup.
Live from Bangkok, Thailand. One Friday Fights. Martial arts action on FanDuel TV Plus. Download the free FanDuel TV Plus app on connected devices and smart TVs. One Friday Fights on FanDuel TV Plus. Friday mornings, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific.
If you tried to keep up, he's built for American racing on the dirt. He'd run you off your feet.
Knicks go tremendous in the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity.
Maybe if you let him loose on the front.
Final time is a Keeneland track record.
Not so much. 8 triple-digit buyers ran a 2 1/4 rag 4 times. 2 track records.